If there was one lesson I could give to everybody about how to create joy, happiness, peace, satisfaction in their lives, it would be the power of helping other people, in particularly the power of helping other people in need. And when I say in need, I'm talking about doing something for someone else that they couldn't or would struggle to do for themselves, that they couldn't pay you back for. There is something that happens to us as individuals when we do something for other people. It has a tendency to uplift us. But too often we focus on what it does to them. And unfortunately, sometimes that causes us not to take the action that would completely change our lives, not just theirs. That power is profound and wildly underestimated. And I really want to leave people with that lesson and understand that power and understand what happens when you are able to really make a difference in someone's life, someone who may be in need. So that's the topic we're going to cover this week. And I'm going to share some things. I'm going to start with the day I learned the profound power of helping other people in need. There was like a moment where I saw it and I was like, blown away, couldn't believe it. This was amazing. I'm going to talk about it here today to kick us off on this week where we talk about the profound power of helping other people in need. So welcome back to the Aha Moments, where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work as a psychotherapist and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. Of course, I'm your host, Elliott Connie. So here's what happened. I had this job where I was working at a halfway house. I was totally not prepared for this job. I had my bachelor's degree in psychology. I didn't have a ton of experience. And there was a woman named Lori, and her job, she was like very good at the administrative stuff. She wasn't super like clinical. And they hired me, and they were so excited because I wanted to do the groups. And Lori didn't. So they were like, this is a guy that we think can do the groups with the young kids. And that in the halfway house was for kids who had gone to Texas Youth Commission, which is basically child prison. And they had done their time and they were now going to be released. But the kind of crime they committed prevented them from going home. Like if the crime committed was in the home, then they can't be released to the home. So they come to the halfway house. These kids had done really challenging things, very violent things, things involved in drugs. I mean, some of these kids have done some really atrocious things. I won't be specific, but about as bad as it gets other than murder. And I'm not convinced they hadn't done murders. They just weren't convicted of those murders. So we got to Christmas and my boss challenged me to come up with an activity that the kids could do that would impact them. And I did not know what to do. So I asked my boss, do we have any money to do this? And she said, yeah, there's a little bit of money. So for whatever reason, and honestly, thinking back, I have no idea why I did this, but for whatever reason, I said to the kids, we're going to go feed the homeless in Dallas. There's a large homeless population in Dallas, and we're going to go feed the homeless in Dallas. And these kids were very upset and annoyed by this. So I brought them all to the office. We spent an entire afternoon making sandwiches, collecting snacks, and putting them in a brown paper bag. And then we went out in Dallas. I got the company van, piled about 10 of these youth into that van, and we drove around Dallas dropping off these gifts, these meals. These kids went from being the most violent, thuggish, low empathy kids you would ever see to being excited to do this activity. I'll never forget, by the end of the night, we were driving around and kids were like, I want to do the next one. I want to do the next one. Because when they walked up to these people living in deplorable circumstances and said, I have something to offer you, oftentimes a person would say, I don't have anything to give you back. Can I pray for you? Or they'd say, thank you, I haven't eaten in 2 days. Can I give you a hug? And it touched the hearts of these people. And that's the thing. And when I say these people, I mean it touched the hearts of these youths that were delivering these meals. And that's the thing I want you guys to understand. Like, that's the thing I want people to get. Like, it's not about just making a difference in other people's lives. It's also about making a difference in your life, and you live in the kind of life where your heart is available to be touched in certain ways. And it's also about creating a society and community where we're all living and doing these kinds of things. So I just want you to think about the power of doing that and how often we get selfish and self-centered and try to accomplish our own goals, aspirations, and ambitions, when the best way to do that is to actually help other people achieve something positive too. Thanks for being here. If you wouldn't mind doing me a super huge favor, I would love it if you would share this podcast with at least one person in your life that you think could benefit from hearing this message today. And also, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen to your podcast. And also follow me on all of the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky. You can search for my name, Elliott Connie, or at Elliott Speaks. That's my handle across all platforms. Can't wait to see you tomorrow.